Right there.
Yeah, join me. This is our first YouTube, so it's probably gonna be a janky YouTube video because we've never done a YouTube video before.
Don't talk shit.
But like anything else, we excel once we get used to something, right? Anyway,
Yes, that's right.
babe,
So the video,
what
or
is the most asked question?
the most asked question is, how did you guys meet? How did you guys meet? How did you guys meet? Everybody wants to hear the
So
story.
we've never told you guys because we met on Ukraine.
First of all, I'm very flattered that everybody wants to hear our story. Because I'm like, who wants to hear our story? No, I'm kidding. All jokes aside, sorry it's been taking so long for us to record this video and to start this YouTube channel. This is all very new to us. Social media in general. And we've been incredibly busy, as you guys may or may not know, with,
Life.
living in California, then moving to New York, living in New York for a while, and then having to move here to Miami, and now kind of being between New York and Miami, and just life in general has been, it's
Very
been
busy.
a lot. It's been great. I'm very, very grateful. Thank God. Everything has been amazing, but nevertheless, it's been a lot. So thank you for being patient with us. And with regards to the story about how we met,
There's been a lot of theories actually going around. So
there's been a lot of theories. A lot of people have been talking all kinds of stuff on social media.
the biggest theory is that you were married before you met me.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, that was on my page.
That I was married before?
Yeah, the theory was that you were married before. It's like there's like a whole sub comment section, and I will show you the video, that you were married
That's
before
great.
you met me. And when you met me,
I was married before I met you.
yeah, and when you met me, you cheated on your previous wife.
Where do people come up with this shit?
Guys, Aloni's never been married. Not that I know of. You know.
No, I've never been married. Sorry to break the news to you guys, but no. My first marriage is, yeah,
Mine too.
exactly. So anyways, I'll let you go ahead and tell them how we met, because I feel like I'm probably a better storyteller.
So, we've been together about 2 years. A little under.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
we met in person for the first time.
The end of the summer of
This
21.
is beginning of August. Beginning of August. So I was in Europe,
Yeah.
and I flew from Europe to New York. I had changed my flight. I was supposed to fly back to LA, and I decided that I was going to fly to New York and meet Danielle in person. We were talking on the phone for a few weeks prior. What, like 3-4 weeks prior?
No, not even like 2.
Like 2 weeks prior.
So Aloni and I have a lot of friends in common from like family friends.
A lot of mutual friends.
So one of my mom's friends had told me, she's like, I have this great guy for you. I want to introduce you to someone. He's single, this, that, the third. And she didn't have a picture to show me of Aloni. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not going on yet another blind date or like letting you give my number to someone, because I've gone on so many dates that my parents have set up for me, and like it's a very cultural thing. I don't know, that's in our culture it's like a normal that they set up for me, and they were just like not my match. So I was like, no, whatever. And then time
I remember
went-
you saying also, especially the guy who lives in California.
yeah, especially a guy who lives in California. Like if I can't find like
Someone
my
in New York.
person in New York, or like even Miami, let's say, which is closer, like California is not gonna be it, and then just time went by, and it happened to be my 30th birthday party, and his sister, who was just following me on Instagram, we didn't know each other, but she found me through like mutual friends of ours, through like the Russian Jewish community.
No, I
And
think she just found you because you were.
Or maybe I
Because
was,
you
like,
like
posting a lot.
your fashion or something.
yeah, whatever it is, but one or the other.
Yeah.
And she said to Aloni, oh my God, you'll never believe, remember that girl that I had showed you?
No. Hold on. So first, my sister was following her on Instagram, right? And I have a younger sister. Hopefully, you guys all know by now. If you don't, I have a sister who's younger than me. She's 5 years younger than me. She's my best friend. We're very, very close. And
Follow her on TikTok.
my sister has never tried to introduce me to anybody or like hook me up with any of her friends. There's actually always been quite the opposite. She would hate, as when we were younger, if I would hook up with her friends. Anyways, so my sister showed me Danielle's Instagram. She's like, listen, bro, there's this beautiful girl I follow on Instagram, and I don't know why, I just feel like she would, like, this is for you, And I was like, looking at her like, okay, like, never heard that from my sister before. So she showed me her Instagram, and of course I was like, yes, she's a gorgeous girl. She's got beautiful style, great swag, you know, same culture, same everything. Like, yeah, I mean, on paper that looks amazing. That would be amazing, but she's in New York, I'm in Cali, like, whatever, you know. I didn't think anything of it, and then I think like a month or so went by, and she's like, yo, you remember that girl I showed you, Danielle, on Instagram? I said, yeah. She said, well, she just had her 30th birthday, and some of our friends' parents were at that birthday. And I was like, oh, wow, no shit. She's like, yeah, so you should hit up, you know,
Your friend.
you should hit up your friend Alex, who's a good friend of mine. So thank you, Alex and Ada and the whole fam. Yeah, so I reached out to them, and I think the next day, within the next day,
I think you added me on Instagram, and I didn't know that for like a few days, and then Aloni FaceTime me. You like FaceTime me.
yeah, but I got your phone number
Yeah.
from I think from
My mom's friend, who's his
from
friend's
Ada,
mom.
I think from either
Yeah.
from Alex or from Ada. Yeah, and then right away I FaceTimed her because I'm not about that
Catfish life.
catfish life. You know what I
I'm
mean?
psycho when I picked up.
Instagram can be very deceiving, and I don't play those games. So I FaceTimed her. Yeah, we talked for a long time, and it was like pretty effortless, and yeah, it flowed really well. It was great. And
So Aloni was leaving to, he had called me like a few days or maybe a week before he was leaving to Europe. This is like close to the end of the summer. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to Europe. I already had a trip planned with his friends for like 2 weeks. And then he was going to Germany after that to like visit his friends because they just gave birth to their son. No, not gave birth. They hadn't given birth yet. Or she was going to give birth.
just went to visit my
Yeah,
friends
he went to
after,
visit his
yeah.
friends. Whatever. And then he like, you know, the polite thing to do, he invited me. He's like, oh, if you want to come to Europe. And I was like, in my
she's
head,
obviously like, hell no, I'm not coming to Europe with
I'm
you.
not thirsty. I'm going to Europe, you know?
Anyway, so I did all that, and then I decided to not fly back to LA, to fly to New York and meet her in person. And yeah, I stayed for, I think I extended my stay or whatever it was, stayed for like a week.
Yeah, and we had a really nice time.
Yeah,
Our
it
first
was
date,
a-
I actually wasn't sure that Aloni liked me because I talked a lot and he just didn't. He's like, when you don't know him, he's not as open, I think, with people, and it just takes some time to like get comfortable. So I wasn't sure if he liked me. So I was like, I didn't think anything. But then he stayed for such a long time. He like extended his trip. Then I was like, all right, he must like me. But
I don't open up right away. I don't like to, you know.
yeah, we had a really nice time though. We had our first date. We went to a dinner. You had flew in that day at like 3 or 4 o'clock, and then we had dinner at like 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day we went to Dumbo, and we spent the entire day in Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the food court and like got a bunch of food from like all different vendors, and then we took a nap on the grass. We passed out, remember? It was like beautiful outside. And then when we woke up after our nap, after like our nap, we just like chilled, walked around Dumbo, and then we went to get pizza and sour candy, and then that's when I knew it was like, okay, he's my person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we like hung out for a few days, and yeah, and then 2 weeks later I went to see
Yeah,
you.
then 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks later she flew out to LA to come see me.
Yeah, and I met his parents on that trip. Remember? Like, their third day, my third day.
Oh, okay.
We went to Pelican Hill, and then after we went to your parents' house.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's my brother. Hold on, we had to pause. I had a little brief interruption. The Caviar King was here.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, she came to Cali. You know, she met my parents, and everything was great. Obviously, my parents loved her, love at first sight. No, but all jokes aside, you know, my parents they did love her, and they were very like thrilled at the possibility of, you know.
Aloni had a conversation with his parents, like, I'm not sure how long before he met me, maybe 6 months or a year prior, where you were like, oh, I just don't think marriage is for me. Maybe I'll just be like a really dope uncle.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people always say on like our social media on TikTok, like, wow, I love your guys' relationship. I wish I can get a relationship like that. Like, I wish that could happen to me. And I will say this, that in order to get, at least for me, right? At least in order for me to get here where I am today, I had to go through a lot of shit, if you will, right? You got to eat a lot of shit. Like, and it wasn't necessarily that it was all bad shit. It's just you have to go through a lot of like different types of relationships to really understand and realize what it is you want, not only out of life, but out of a partner, right? And you have to, as corny as it sounds, is really like put yourself out there and align yourself with that. And that was something that I believe I did, not only on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level. And
we've both been in relationships lasted a few years.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you learn those relationships are building blocks, right?
Yeah, they teach you a lot.
They teach you a lot. So I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I did tell my parents, like, I don't know, maybe less than a year prior to us meeting, like, listen, I was like, damn, I'm already 39 years old. I thought for sure I'd be married and have kids by now. And I was already, like, I was getting a little, like, I don't know if I was just resigning to the fact that, you know what, maybe I'm not going to get married and have kids, and maybe I should prepare myself to, like, just be okay with that, to have my nephews and be an uncle. And I did have that conversation with my parents, and they were obviously heartbroken.
Especially your mom.
They did not, that was devastating for them to hear that, and they didn't want to believe it, and they never gave up hope, and I don't think I ever really did either. And I think when you get to a certain point where you really kind of just, like, I don't know, let things happen and not force things so much, great things can happen. But also have a goal in mind, which I always had. I always had a goal. So I never lost sight of the vision, but I kind of let go a little bit. And that's exactly what happened. And Danielle, showed up in my life, and is, like I always say, it's been the biggest blessing for me, no doubt. And yeah, I'm eternally grateful to God for putting such an amazing person in my life, and for really finding the partner that it's just like a seamless partner. Like, we're best friends. It's really almost effortless.
We're very different, but we're very similar.
Yeah, and then fast forward. Sorry if I'm talking too much.
Great. Fast forward 5 months. Well, technically, fast forward to, okay, so let's say I met his parents in beginning of September. So fast forward to January, my mom's birthday. His parents met my parents. They came down to Miami. It was my mom's birthday party. She had a huge party, and whatever, we were out, like, at my mom's party, and Aloni's mom kept crying the entire time, and I was like, bro, what's up with your mom? Like, why is she crying so much? He's like, she's just tipsy. She's, like, happy. She's in Miami. She hasn't been on vacation in so long because post-COVID, they were like, they haven't traveled, and she's happy that, I have a girlfriend.
No, she always just like, oh, she's happy, she's emotional because she sees that I'm in love, and you're such a good girl, my parents like you so much, and she's just very happy, She
was crying the entire time.
But little did Danielle know is that everyone already knew that I was planning to propose, and I was actually already having the ring made. So everybody knew that, of course, except for Danielle. So that's why my mom was so emotional and crying, because she just couldn't believe it. So yeah.
Then fast forward to my birthday. I had told Aloni that some of the things that were on my bucket list is that I was dying to go on a hot air balloon, and he's like, he wanted to do that with me for my birthday. So
this, mind you, this is coming from the person who's terrified of flying.
Yeah,
she wants to go to hot air balloon.
So, but I would, like, whatever. So he tells me, he's like, babe, do you want to go for your birthday on a hot air balloon? Because I need to prepare you so you could take, like, Dramamine and do whatever it is that you do to help with your anxiety and your whatever. And I was like, yeah, let's do it, blah, blah, blah. So this was like a week. We were flying to Cali on February 11th, like a week before my birthday. So like a week prior to February 11th, we were out with like a bunch of our friends, like on multiple occasions in New York and different nights. And people were like, oh, what are you doing for your birthday? Multiple people asked me, and I said, Aloni's taking me in a hot air balloon. And I guess the moments that I was not with him, when I would go to the bathroom or whatever, not paying attention, they would be like, you're proposing, aren't you? And he's like, fuck. And
yeah, like 3 people told me that. They're like, wow, you're going to propose in the hot air balloon, aren't you? And I was like, what do you mean?
He never admitted it to anyone.
I was like playing stupid. I was like, what do you guys mean? They're like, oh my God, you are. I know you are. I know you are. So when I had like several people tell me that, I was like, damn, if they're expecting it, that means that she's for sure going to expect it.
I wasn't.
Because I know how she is.
I wasn't, because I didn't think it was going to be that.
She didn't think I was going to propose that quick.
Yeah, it's 5 months.
Yeah. But listen, I know when I'm an impulsive guy in many ways. And when you know, you gotta take that.
Something lead. You have to know about Aloni, for those of you who are not friends with him and don't know him, is that when he's in, he's like all in, and he's like fast. And he just like comes out of nowhere with a lot of different things. So
Life is too short. I mean, you got to trust your intuition. You got to trust your gut. That's what it's there for.
So the plan was that my parents were going to fly in. So we're going to celebrate my birthday in California. My parents were going to fly in. Aloni and I were going to go in the hot air balloon. And then we were going to like meet my parents and his parents for lunch later.
And my dad hated the idea. He did not want us going in a hot air balloon.
Neither did my mom, actually.
Yeah.
They both didn't want us. They're like, what do you need a hot air balloon for? Oh, it's something dangerous, whatever.
Yeah.
So fast forward, we go out to the airport, and Aloni goes to me.
No. So after the 3 people told me
Yeah, you changed
that
the plan.
I said, you know, three people assumed that I was going to propose. I said, there's no way I can do this. I have to abort the mission. So I told my mom and I told her mom. I said, listen, guys, I'm canceling the hot air balloon. I'm not going to do it because we were supposed to do it in Temecula in California. Because we were flying on the February 11th to Cali. So I canceled that whole hot air balloon thing. And I basically decided very last minute that I'm going to propose at the airport over the loudspeaker. So we were flying to John Wayne in Orange County because I was living in Newport Beach. That's where my house is. And we were just flying, from New York, JFK to Orange County. So I had my mom and my sister help me out. They went down to John Wayne Airport. Actually, I don't even know if I should be saying that because they really, really kind of like...
Okay. Anyway, so his sister texts me on February 11th, the morning of our flight, and goes, guys, by the way, I got us a reservation at that Michelin restaurant that we've been trying to go to, but we don't have time to change. So just bring a nice, bring not sweatpants with you on the plane and just change so that way.
We wanted Danielle to be dressed up because I know how she is. She's going to be because I was going to have cameras there to record the whole thing, right? Obviously, I'm proposing at the airport. I want to get that on film. And she was probably just going to fly in tights and a sweater. So I was like, listen, babe, dress up a little bit nicer because from there we're going straight to this restaurant.
And Aloni never comments on my clothes, but...
Yeah. And she's like, oh, wow, I don't understand. I was like, please.
So I just took nice clothes with me on the plane and then I just changed. And so on the flight, I actually had such a good flight. Aloni got upgraded luckily through his Delta, what is it that you have? Sky Miles, Priority, whatever. And we had such a nice flight and I was like, let's get a cheese board, let's have some wine. And Aloni was looking at me like, wine? Because I hate flying and I definitely don't drink on the plane, but I had such a good flight. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna go to a restaurant after this. Let's get buzzed. And then meanwhile, I guess the entire half the flight, Aloni was freaking out because his sister texted him saying we can't do the proposal at the airport because they were giving them some sort of difficulties and he was on Wi-Fi trying to figure it out. Cool as a cucumber. I would have never guessed. He did not show any signs of distress whatsoever. So
yeah.
We land at the airport and I'm like, oh, when's your sister coming? He's like, oh, soon, whatever. So he takes me to baggage claim and he goes, wait right here. We had my dog with me. We had our carry-ons and I had my purse and Aloni goes, I'll be right back. He either said he was going to the restroom or to check if his sister was here.
No, I told her, I said, let's just wait here by the baggage claim. I'm going to go, my sister's outside. I just need to go grab something for my sister and I'll be right back.
Meanwhile, he knew that
I knew she's gonna okay. She's gonna pull out her phone, go on social media, scroll on her phone, whatever. I know. It's exactly what happened. So I went outside and the reason I needed to do that is because my parents had the ring. Because I told them to take the ring when they came to Miami because I thought I was gonna propose in the hot air balloon in California. So I was like, just take the ring with you. I don't need to have it with me. I don't want her to see it, God forbid. So I needed to go outside. My dad was standing outside with the ring for me. I grab the ring. I walk out. There's another door. I walk inside. She doesn't see me. And I go to this little station and they give me the loudspeaker and they're paging her name over the loudspeaker while I'm there.
And I start freaking out.
Paging passenger Danielle Zaslavskaya.
They said it twice.
They said it twice, right?
And I'm freaking out because I have all of our
and
shit.
She's looking around and I see her. She's like, oh my God. And she's freaking out.
Because I thought that I left something on the plane or I did something, I don't know, or the dog, whatever. And I'm like, where's Aloni? And I'm like, I have all my shit. The dog was with me.
Then I grabbed the loudspeaker and I forget what I said. It was something along the lines of,
will you marry me?
I was like, my love, this is Aloni. I just have one question for you. Will you marry me? And
I got red.
yeah, she got red, and people were like, oh my God.
I turned red because I didn't know where to look. I didn't know where he was.
And people were like freaking out everywhere, like, oh my God, that's amazing. And she kind of like, she saw me, then she saw me. And she turned over and saw me. And like, whatever, we just walked over to each other, and she kind of fell on her knees and started crying. And
I blacked out. I left my dog, my purse, my very expensive purse, all of our carry-on, all of our stuff at the. I just left it.
it was pretty wild. So that was it.
So-
That's
And
the
here
story.
we are. 6 months later was our wedding. They were already
That
planning
was
the
Feb-
wedding
Yeah, we were planning the wedding already before.
before he proposed to me.
Just
On that
because,
trip where his mom was crying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
my romantic love.
Love you, my good girl.
I love you. And that's it. So
Bye, guys.